You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network.
Very good, King. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and now streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Shameless. Tonight's host is Bethany Jaber. Joining Bethany will be AFTERBUZZ co-hosts Tom Detrinis, Colette Patnaude, and Curtis Taylor. In studio tonight is the star of the show, Cameron Monaghan, who plays Ian Gallagher. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest shameless news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, Bethany Jaber!
Yay! Hey guys, what's up? What an crazy episode. This is Shameless Season 1, Episode 11, properly titled Daddyz Girl. And it was nuts. Frank loses his workers' comp. The love triangle between Tony, Steve, and Fiona builds. Amy Smart is introduced. Lip and Ian are in search for Ian's father. And Karen loses her mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot, and we are just thrilled. We're so lucky to have Cameron, who plays Ian, here in the studio with us.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Welcome.
Do you like to be called Cameron, Cam, Mr. Monaghan? Like
I go by all those names.
All of the above.
I'm definitely calling you Mr. Monaghan for the rest of the show.
From now on, all right.
Okay.
And then we also got it. There's a, for some of the viewers, you're probably like, wow, this person looks totally different. He's not Ian. Ian has red hair.
Who's this
red
guy?
hair. Yeah, who's this guy? Well, it's actually him. He's got his hair, dyed, is blonde. It's curly. It's good look. Good look.
Thank you very much.
He's auditioned to be.
Is that your natural color?
No, it's not actually. What it's on the show is my natural color, but I decided I wanted a little bit of a change. When you work on a show for a really long time, you're kind of constrained to one look, and you have to style it the same way over and over and over. And I kind of felt like mixing it up a little bit. So.
Yeah, it looks great. It's fun.
See, you thought we were going to start a new band, NSYNC. You kind of Justin Timberlake.
No.
Got that.
It's more hipster than NSYNC.
No, he's got the nice little Justin Timberlake jacket on. It's like nice and snug.
Hipster Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, there you go.
I dig it.
We'll
I
work
think
with that
great. We're just so excited to have you here. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Let's get this going. We are just so curious. How did you and Shameless come together? How did you find each other?
Well, it's pretty typical casting process, I have to say. I got a call from my agent. They told me to come in and read for the show. As soon as I saw these sides, I realized this is something that I'd never seen before. This is something really unique. It's definitely a little shocking. The dialogue was, it was definitely something that I hadn't seen before. It was really raw and very sincere. One of the scenes where it was the scene between Lip and Ian when they're sitting in the van and they're kind of discussing Ian's sexuality. And it's something that you don't get to see in sides very often. So I also saw that William H. Macy was part of the show. And as soon as I saw that, I knew that I had to be a part of this.
Well, no, it's true. I feel like for most sides and auditions for young men your age, it's usually like you're either the geeky guy who's really awkward, or you're like the tough football player, or you're like the musician type. But this is like
you're boning guys. You never get a chance to see. You're like going in hard. Guys.
That's one way to put it.
Well, I got to keep it raw. That's exactly what it is.
All these jokes.
Yeah, well, you don't get to see it.
Yeah, but it's a character unlike I think that we've yet to see on television.
Yeah.
Was the testing process for the role really long and arduous and tough, or was it pretty simple?
No, actually, it's probably one of the easiest casting processes I've ever been through.
Really?
Yeah,
Cool.
I went in to read with the casting director. They brought me back to read with the director and the producers. They brought me one more time for a network session, which was also a chemistry read with Jeremy Allen White, who plays my brother Lip on the show. I got the call a couple days later after that, and
Oh my goodness.
yeah, really easy.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really easy.
Wow, because you usually hear people going to like they test and then the network's not sure and the studio's not sure, but I also hear that HBO's a little more nurturing. Do you
Showtime.
find that?
Yeah.
Showtime.
Showtime.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Everything Bethany.
It's okay,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I don't want them calling you up and
I
being
know,
like, how
I know.
dare.
It's true. But no, it's that we do hear that Showtime is more nurturing
Yeah,
in their
you know,
casting process.
I think the network and our producer John Wells on the show, who's our showrunner, I think everyone kind of had an idea of what they wanted for all the characters. People came with a really strong idea of what they wanted the show to be, and I guess they felt that they had found that thing when I came in to read.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to pull your pants down because there's one.
Well, I didn't say that. I mean,
well, because the thing is, no. When you remember Cash's mother, she was like, he must be huge because I hear you screaming all the time. So that was one of the big things, you know. We actually talked about this, you know. We talked about.
oh yeah,
this.
they,
Hey,
they
we're
they only
family.
wrote that in because of me.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I was thinking that.
Well
that.
played. Well
I was
played.
thinking that.
For your preparation for the role, what did you do? What's your process like? I mean, everybody has a different process. I mean, you get these sides, and it's really unlike anything you've seen before. How did you prepare?
I mean, normally what I do is I read over and over and over, and I try to figure out, you know, what the sides are hinting out who this person is, and also I make my own decisions as well. And I create a character first, and then after that is when I start, you know, really going in and thinking what I want to do individually with each lines and sitting down and memorizing it all. But it's mostly just a process of repetition for me.
Okay. Wow.
Very good.
Along those lines, did you look into the British version of Shameless when you got the role? And
Yeah, you know, after I had filmed the pilot, I went and I watched the entire first season of the British show, and it was definitely something that I really respected. I really loved. I'm a fan of that show as well. But I decided that I didn't want to continue watching any further than that because I wanted to, you know, have my own ideas of the character and where the show is going, because we're making major divergences, both with characters and story. So I decided not to continue watching anymore.
definitely. What are some differences between like your character of Ian and then the other Ian? I'm just curious.
I think we tend to carry ourselves in different way. You know, personality just manifests itself in different ways in these characters. I think that this Ian might be a little bit tougher, a little bit more hard-nosed, maybe more stubborn. I think both of them are really loving of the family, and that kind of really shows.
So do you see yourself, like Cameron, you know, in the role of Ian? Do you see any similarities?
Oh yeah, there's definitely parts of my personality in there.
Which ones?
Well, you're an only child, and he has a big family. So what is that like for you?
Yeah, that's definitely something different from, you know, growing up. I pretty much grew with a very, very small family. It's just mostly my mom and me, as opposed to with the Gallaghers. It's a huge family.
It is
Yeah.
a huge, crazy family.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. So I think that was definitely a different experience. But you know, what's great with working with all these people is it's like you gain a family from working on the show, and you really get the experience of what the Gallaghers have.
I'm curious about that because like every set has its tone. Like I hear that Mad Men is a very cold set, not cold in like the mean or terrorizing sense, but like it's
They don't really.
it's
They're not a
just-
family.
I mean, the show is about formality, and formality is in the 1950s, and so it's just a very quiet set, and people kind of keep to themselves. But you guys, you look like you're having so much fun together, and we buy it that you're a family. Are you having crazy fun on set?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can say if that's a cold set, this is most certainly a warm set. This is a really, truly unique experience that I haven't ever gotten when working on another show. But we're really a close unit on the show. We're like family. We're always laughing, always having fun, always just playing around. And it's like you're not even coming to work every single day. I mean, certainly everyone is really professional and focused on the work, but at the same time, it's like you're coming in to have fun and get to play around in these roles.
And do they allow you to play around? Do they allow you to, jump off the script a little bit? You know, because some directors are straight to the script. Is what it says on the paper, go with it. Does the set allow you to be a little bit more creative?
Yeah, I think we have scripts that are so rich to begin with, and they're so great that you feel that you don't need to add that much and change that much. We certainly do play around, and we do throw improv out there. Like just in the last episode, not this episode, the one before, the scene where I go and visit Mickey in the prison. One of the biggest laughs for the show is take your hand off the window, take your hand off the glass. That was actually improv. I put my hand on the glass. He threw out that great line. And so there's certainly playing around, but at the same time, I think we do generally tend to stick to the script.
It is a really incredible script. I think that's one of the things that makes this show so spectacular, and you guys really do some wonderful justice to it. Because a lot of the times, do you feel like you kind of just have to show up and know the lines and it's going to be kind of all there for you? Or is there a lot of certain scenes that you feel you have to prepare a little bit more for in terms of like emotional preparation? Or are you kind of just there and then you all are just living and breathing and like living in the moment kind of thing?
Well, there's certainly a lot of emotional preparation. I mean, you get these sides where sometimes there are scenes that are so shocking just when you read them and you realize that there's so much there, and you know that when you get to the set that day you're gonna have to bring it because this is heavy material and you need to handle it respectfully, and it's gonna take a lot to bring this great stuff to life,
See, and what brings me to this point, I see a lot of parody, like a lot of differences where you have the grandmother, she's the one that's in the penitentiary, and instead of this old man who is the father who's doing time,
right?
It strikes me, that Shameless does a lot of that. They do a lot of reversals of characters, and the biggest reversal characters for me is that it seems like it's an African American story, with the the single parent or the displacement of parents, and then you have all these kids, and then the oldest child pretty much looks after the rest of them, and they have to pretty much fend for themselves, and then you have like a lot of diamonds in the rough where they're very smart, have a lot of street smarts, and it seems as if some of them have a lot of book smarts, but they don't apply it because they're so smart and they're trying to survive. What kind of question I'm trying to ask you? Do you notice that? Like, do you notice the parody where, to me, it seems like Shameless is trying to get people to relate to this story, which I actually love, because it's almost like it's telling my story and it's giving Caucasian people and Asians, every other nationality, an opportunity to sympathize or with my story.
Right.
And I think that's great. How do you feel about that? Like, or did you even notice?
Oh, no, yeah, that's definitely a valid point. Well, firstly, with comedy, I think, and I do think this show at the heart is a comedy. Yeah. It takes your expectations and it tends to reverse them or reveal them and show how you feel in a new light or bring a lot of stuff up to your attention.
Yeah.
And I think this show is definitely it's a story that might normally be put with like a black family, an inner city family, and they're putting a white face to this, and I think what it's doing is it's making it relatable to an audience or making people realize, wow, I have a lot common with these guys, and it's just people like me who are going through all the struggle and having all this stuff going on in their lives. So yeah, I definitely
have you ever had any fans come up to you and relate to you in that way?
Oh, definitely. I hear all the time, actually, that the Gallaghers are exactly like their families, or that had a Frank in their family, and they really relate to the show, which is.
And specifically, has any I'm sure you get talked about this all the time. Has any gay youth come up to you and spoken to you a little bit about how your character is just so different than the usual stereotypical gay character on television, which is really fantastic because they come in all shapes and colors. You know what I mean? Has there been other youth that have come up to you and said anything to you about that?
Yeah, very much so, actually. I try to be pretty active with the fan community on both Twitter and Facebook, and I get contacted a lot through there where people say that they really feel that Ian represents who they are as a person, or they normally don't can't relate to a lot of gay characters on television, but
Right.
they feel that this is a part that they really relate to.
Which is why I think that this is a really, and like we said before, this is really kind of a different television show because of that specific reason. I think that they really stretch the boundaries with all of the other kids too, in terms of like, underprivileged children being extremely smart, smarter than the people who are privileged, and the gay character, playing with guns and being an ROTC. I think it's really fantastic that you've taken this character and not looked at it as like, okay, this is a gay character. You're just like, he's a character, and this happens to be an aspect, because that is the way a lot of lesbian, gay, transgender, whatever. That's the way they live their lives. It's just another aspect. It's not who they just
don't happen to
live
be
it.
gay.
Right, yeah, I definitely agree with what you said there, where, I don't like to think of Ian as a gay character,
Right.
but a character who happens to be gay. Gay is obviously not a personality. It's never going to define who you are as a person. I mean, it's just one very small facet of a human being. So, yeah, I definitely never want to play the part as just gay.
Yeah. And I commend you for that. I really do.
Yeah.
I really think
Yeah,
that's a really
impressive.
fantastic choice. And I know it's partially your choice, and I hope it was, the choice of everyone else on the team. And it's really, really fantastic that this is represented in that light. I think that's great. It's really great.
Thank you.
It's so gorgeous. It was one of Jesse's favorite things. Jesse's over there in the booth. One of his first comments when Shameless aired, we were all just our jaws just kind of dropped, and we were like, finally, because heterosexuals on television, there is a scale of masculine and feminine. But for homosexuals, that's not always the case.
That's not always the case.
That's not always the case. There was recently an NCIS episode with Guy Wilson, who's a friend of ours, where he played a very masculine homosexual man whose father had done something not so nice. Because somebody always kills somebody on those shows.
Right, exactly.
But my thoughts went straight to you and to what you've been doing with Ian. And how like you and your showrunners have kind of planted a seed, and now it's starting to pop up in other places on television, and it's really exciting.
Well, I hope so. I hope that we continue to have an effect on it on other shows and with other similar characters.
Do you feel any pressure at all that you've kind of you've taken this on? Do you feel as because you are a voice?
Yeah, I think there is definitely a certain responsibility. Obviously, there are people who really, really relate to the character, and I want to handle it respectfully and handle it realistically in a way that they can continue to relate to, and so I definitely think there is going to be a little bit of a responsibility there.
Speaking of NCIS, as I was getting dressed to come to the show, I saw that you're going to be on the NCIS coming out this Tuesday.
That's great.
Tuesday at
Congratulations.
I think it's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, right? Do you know it? Do you know, Cameron?
Yes.
Do you know when it is?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
I think so.
Okay, we'll be watching.
Yeah. So, is there anything else? Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Like, 'cause I know you're going to be on the NCIS on Tuesday. So everybody pay attention to that. He's going to be on there again, and he's going to have red hair. He's not going to have blonde.
Yeah.
Is there any other projects that you're working on, or that is in?
No, NCIS is this Tuesday, March 22nd. The season finale of Shameless is going to be next Sunday, and then the movie Prom, Disney's Prom, will be out in late April 29th, I believe.
Oh, good.
I'm so excited for that. I get to read that script, and I'm thrilled for that. I
Yeah, we
love
really
prom
forward
movies.
to
I'm
it,
such a
too.
girl. Sorry. I'm ready for it.
So, did you have any problems with Disney? Seeing that you did Shameless, and Shameless is, is really, really hard, and then you have Prom, which is so youthful. And Disney's like straight to the. You can't even have any hair on your face when you do Disney.
Right.
You have to be straight.
But no,
to color.
it's like I don't like to think of stuff as in terms of this is Disney, this is not Disney. So much as if a project interests me, if I like a role, it doesn't matter if it's what it's for necessarily, just if it's something that interests me, and the movie interests me, and I'm glad that.
Well, I know you don't have a problem with Disney, but did Disney have a problem with you?
Oh, I don't believe so. Otherwise, I'm not sure.
You would know.
You would
Yeah,
know.
you would
Yeah.
know.
I don't
This is
think
like-
I would be.
They
a
come
part of
after
it.
you with like pitchforks.
No, I don't think they had a problem with it, and I don't think that anybody's gonna have a problem with it. I
Great.
mean, it's parts are parts. Everyone knows that an actor can be a part of one show and can be a part of something completely different, and it's not like one is gonna affect the other one. They're two entirely different roles.
And that's
Right.
why it's so cool that you haven't necessarily been like typecasted as, you know, one thing or another. You can really like
Yeah.
go anywhere.
Well, thank you. My favorite
exciting.
actors are like ones who play wildly different characters in our wildly different movies. Like Gary Oldman is one of my favorites. Where you know I call them like chameleons.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Chameleons, where they can put themselves into the skin of wildly different people, and I respect that, and I try to do the same thing.
So, would it, in that same respect, jumping off of that, do you? What is one of the greatest things you've learned from William H. Macy on set? What is one of the things that, you know, watching that, because he's a chameleon, so is his wife, who's a genius.
Who's William H. Macy?
I know. What are their babies
Did
like?
I say William H. Macy?
No, who is it?
Oh,
I mean, I'm talking about for the viewers. I mean, we need to
oh,
know.
William H. Macy, who plays
Frank
Frank
Gallagher.
Gallagher
There we
on the
go.
show. There you
Yeah.
go. Sorry, excuse me.
okay.
Thank you. So, what is one of the wonderful things that you've learned from him watching him work on set?
I think that you know, work doesn't have to affect home life is definitely something that I find really interesting. He's a complete family man at his heart. He's a really good, really straight shooting guy, just like a really fantastic person who I really admire, because he's very focused, but at the same time he really cares about his family, his wife, and his kids. And I definitely respect that, and I hope that, you know, one day I can grow up and be very much a part of acting and everything, but also at the same time still have my own life and never let the two like change each other, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So he doesn't come to set. He doesn't come to set drunk and trying to slip around and trying to get paid. Get some
Every day.
versatility.
He's just no. He's a complete professional. He's really great.
So you guys, you shoot in Los Angeles and Chicago.
We
That's
do.
right. For some reason, I just thought you shot in LA, but I kept looking at those exteriors and going, they're really fabulous and they look so real. It looks like Chicago.
Yeah, I don't.
So how much of your week is split up? What is your shooting schedule like?
It's what we normally do is we'll shoot about 6 or 7 episodes worth of stuff here in Los Angeles, and then after we shoot all the stuff that we can shoot here on the Warner Brothers lot, we go over to Chicago and shoot all the exteriors for those episodes.
Okay.
And that'll usually take about a week's worth of time, as opposed to the 7 weeks or however long it took to shoot all those other episodes.
So, is it hard for you to go
Yeah.
back from, like, let's say you're shooting the 4th episode and then like the 10th episode in Chicago? Do you find that difficult to try to like jump back to where you were like right before?
That's definitely something tricky. You know, the characters change and they have arcs, and they're in very different emotional places between these episodes and even between scenes. So you definitely have to always be aware of where the character is in the story, and I usually try to read a few pages before and a few pages after the scene that we're about to shoot. It's also quite difficult because of hair and makeup and
Right.
clothing, and you know, people can look really different just between one episode. So that was really a challenge as well.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Because that has to be really hard. Do you find sometimes you have to like write yourself notes to kind of remind yourself, oh, I was in this place at this thing, or you have a pretty good memory where you kind of like jog it in?
I tend to have a pretty good memory of that, you know, because I tend to really rely on repetition when I
Right.
you know,
As you're
learn
learning.
these scenes.
Yeah, you exercise.
That usually I have a pretty good idea of where my character is on these scenes, but I definitely, like I said, like to read before and afterwards just to remind myself.
Remind yourself.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the title of the show,
Mm.
Shameless, because
Such a good
I
title.
feel like and this is just my personal take, and you can please tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like the only one who is living without shame is Frank Gallagher, and everybody else has like their shame that they're trying to figure out where it's placed. They have parts of themselves that they're hiding that they don't. Lip, for example, like he I feel like he kind of wants out, but he's not sure how to get out. And so that's his shame, that he's kind of like, oh, how do I do it? I don't know if I want out. I don't know what's on the horizon, but I want more. I feel like Fiona's shame is kind of torn between her 2 men
And her family.
and her family, absolutely. Do you agree with this? I mean, because Frank is just so shameless, but everybody else I feel like has something to hide. Do you?
Well, yeah, Frank
He's out
definitely is the most shameless of the bunch. But I think shameless is also referring to, they're really comfortable with being Gallaghers and being part of this family, and they're definitely they're not going to ever hide that part of themselves. That's really who they are, and they're really comfortable with that. But I definitely think that each character has some part that they are a little, uncomfortable with. A little, yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be interesting if nobody had secrets.
Absolutely. I think it would be a very boring show if everyone just got along fine and nothing ever really happened.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting along, off the set, do you guys hang out? You guys hang out or anything like that? Some of the characters. I'm sorry.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we've grown to be a pretty tight group, and we like to get together. We get together a lot when we're filming, but even not. We always try to watch the episodes with each other when we can. We go over to Bill Macy's house a lot
very nice.
to watch the show. Yeah. So we enjoy being in each other's company.
So how do you look at Fiona after you just there? You sitting in a room. You guys are all watching the show, and she takes her shirt off like she did this episode, and you look over at her and you're like, really? Like, how does that change the relationship? I mean, because it would change the relationship. I think she's hot, by the way. I think she's
Fiona, yeah.
Oh yeah,
she's
she
gorgeous.
very much is.
So it would change the relationship for me.
Yeah, no, I think we've all gotten comfortable enough with each other where it really doesn't bother us. I mean,
I need to get on that show.
That's the family aspect of it, because I
Yeah.
come from a huge family, and you just have to, and that's why it's so funny that you've all become, and that's why it looks so good, because you become a fam. You have become a family on the set, and it is I can relate with this because this is how my family, even though we didn't grow up like poor and underprivileged, we still have those same kind of like feelings to it.
Cameron, no. We watched the episode together. Cameron didn't turn around. He didn't turn away and say, "Oh, that's my sister. I can't see it." He actually watched.
But
So
I don't
it can't
know.
be, it can't be that kind of relationship.
But do you know when you're doing a play and like there's like 20 of you in the cast and you're changing backstage and you've got a quick change.
Really?
And you're
No,
like,
but there's no.
you do. You're like whatever. Okay, I'm changing. I'm going. I don't.
Well, let's change. We never change it after Buzz. I want to
No,
take my clothes off.
we're not doing like a play together.
Really, we're
after
family.
Broadway.
We're all
We have changed. You just have been coming too late.
I'm sorry. I missed it. I'm
That's
sorry.
what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. Where were you when you found out that it was picked up for a second season? Did you know it was going to happen? Were you apprehensive? Like, what was going on with you?
I mean, I was pretty confident that we were going to get picked up for a second season. I mean,
We all were. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
We've been doing pretty well. We have a really strong fan community right now. People are really, really positive about the show. I know that Showtime is very proud of the show as well. I think that I was always pretty confident that we were going to get picked up. But at the same time, there's always still a little bit of anxiety when it comes to something like that. I mean, I was 99% sure that we were going to get picked up, but there's still that 1% that bugs you just a little bit, like, oh man, when are we going to find out? Are we going to find out? But I was actually filming a webisode for prom. Little web series called Corey and Lucas, where it's basically following just a couple of characters from the movie. But I was working on that webisode when I got the call from John Wells Productions. And
you were like, yes.
I was walking on air for the rest of the day. It was. Yeah, that was a good day for me.
That's
So you have been working more than just
Yeah.
NCIS prom and Shameless. You're
Yeah.
doing a webisode.
Well,
as well.
that's part of prom. That's part of prom. It's I think an extension of that.
Very good.
What do you do when you're not working? Like, what else do you do to, have a life, keep your sanity? I mean, I imagine being on set. It's like, are they 16-hour days? Are they long days? Or like, what do you do for fun?
Well, to answer it's not usually like a 16-hour day.
No.
More likely, it depends on how much work you have that day. Some days you come in, you're only there for like a few hours, and other days you're going to be there for 14, 15 hours. It really does depend. But oddly enough, I like to go to the movies every Friday. You'd think that being in stuff I wouldn't want to be experiencing more of it, but it's actually the opposite. I love movies and television, so I try to always catch up on my favorite shows and go to the movies as often as I can. Also, I play guitar and drums. I snowboard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
When did you know you wanted to be an actor? Like at what age? Because you're not very old. You're pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, when did you say, I want to be an actor and I want to go ahead and go full speed at this?
I don't know if there was ever a distinct moment, a distinct like epiphany. It was so much as I grew up my entire life watching movies and television and really just loving them. And I don't know when I was about
Entire 17 years. Huh?
when I was about like
My entire life.
Yeah, my entire life. I was watching them in the womb. When I was about 7 or 8 is when I told my mom that this is something that I want to do. I want to be a part of this. And she was really supportive. She got me involved in first just local theater, and she saw that I did really well in that. I moved to modeling and commercials, and then eventually to auditioning for movies and television. I booked my first job when I was 8.5 years old with the Music Man movie with Matthew Broderick, and from there I just.
So going to that, because I would love for you just to speak about that as your kind of first professional kind of like big movie kind of deal, even though it's not it was a TV movie, but still a big deal.
Right.
So what was it like to work with these extremely seasoned veterans on especially in a musical form, which is a very specific form of work? How was that for you?
Well, at the time, I don't even know if I was completely aware of just how seasoned and how big these actors were. I mean, I definitely Molly Shannon was in the movie, which a lot of people don't even remember, but I actually was watching Saturday Night Live and stuff at the time. I grew up watching that, and I knew her Mary Catherine Gallagher. I kind of had an idea when I was 8 years old of that these are big people, but I didn't even completely realize until I got older. I was like, wow, I've been able to work with some, pretty
it's the joy of being young.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
just be like,
You're
I'm
just
just gonna
feeling-
have
just
fun
gonna
and
have fun
play. I
today.
don't know who this is.
But
What's up, Matthew Broderick?
Call me.
I think that's great because there was never any anxiety of going in and this is my first project, and I'm going to be working with all these big people. That this is that big of a deal. So much as I just got really comfortable being on a set and acting in front of a camera, and I think that's great. I've always been comfortable for pretty much my entire life.
That's wonderful.
There's that scene.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I love this. Hold on, pause. Let's pause.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. We're back. No, you actually.
Yes.
I noticed that you mentioned that you did some modeling and stuff like that. And it's a pretty hot jacket you got right there.
Oh, thank you very
you
much.
modeling today? Is that? what you're doing?
I'm modeling this thing right.
Yeah, it looks pretty hot. Where'd you get it
Thank you very
from?
much. I believe it's called The Shop in Beverly Hills. It's a little bit more of a boutique place, but they were really kind as to give this to me, and it's great. I love it.
They gave it to you?
Yeah, they did. They gave it as a gift. They said, here, if you want to wear it for something, then go ahead. And
Well, it wasn't even Christmas either, huh?
No. I guess Christmas came a little early this year.
See what
Can't
you
be mad
guys
at
have to
that. I
look
know,
forward to.
I know.
We're all actors here pretty much. This is
gifts.
it's
my
all good
gifts.
stuff. It's all good
Just
stuff.
want the free stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
You
Just
guys are
keep
so
the money.
funny.
Just send the free stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Cut the check.
We're a fan of yours. Who are you a fan of? Like, who do you want to work with? If you could write the magic list.
Besides Curtis, besides Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I said Gary Oldman. I'd love to have a chance with working with him. As well as Ben Kingsley. I'm a huge fan of as well. Or Meryl Streep. If I had a chance to work with her,
Absolutely.
that'd be pretty awesome. I mean, there are so many actors like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
I think would be awesome to be in a movie.
Directors at
Directors.
all? Because for some reason my mind goes to directors first. I don't know why. Like I like Alfonso Cuarón. I just love him
Cuarón,
so.
that's it.
Cuarón. I just love him so much. Like if I had the chance, I think I might be
if you had the chance.
speechless. I'd be like, Hi.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah. Do you have any interest in directing at all?
I definitely have a bit of an interest. I really enjoy writing, so I think I'm gonna get involved with writing first. It's something that I really love. I'm starting to take college courses in creative writing, and getting involved with that. But I definitely think that I want to direct as I get a little older and get more experience with the set.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. It's fun to be creative and do lots of things. And you play guitar. Is it guitar?
Guitar and drums.
Yeah, that's amazing. And do you do any open mics at all? Do you ever like just take your guitar out and be like, I'm just gonna go to this little open mic down the street and sing songs?
No.
You're like, I haven't gotten that far yet.
I haven't done that yet.
That's
All right.
classic.
Well, let us know. We'll come out. We'll support you.
All right.
We'll be
there.
your fans.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'll
Absolutely.
be great. This has been so wonderful.
Yeah,
It's been really nice.
If you guys don't mind, I've been holding off our fan questions.
fan
let our
bring in
fans
the
know.
fans.
And so, one of the things that we discussed, or actually, let's start with this one because this is a fun one. We always joked about that Bethany looks like Emmy Rossum. Now,
True, but I'll
Cameron,
take it.
would you agree?
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
He's polite. Thank you, Cameron.
He's
I
like,
appreciate
he's like,
it.
take your shirt off first. I need to see. I need to see. Oh, that was my
Okay.
that's my story. I'm sorry. I digressed.
Okay. Well, so I'll take that as a yes, right? All right.
Thank you.
So the next one that we have is obviously we do TV shows. What is your favorite TV show apart from Shameless?
Dexter. I'm gonna have to say Dexter.
Good call. Good call.
Good show.
Any
Yeah.
interest in
Great
the
show.
AfterBuzz edition for Dexter? Any interest in hosting the AfterBuzz Dexter edition?
Maybe I'd stop by, but I don't think that people would want to be seeing me talk about something like that.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
He works
well,
for Shameless.
Well, we discussed on our show, I believe it was 2 episodes ago, Paul Abbott, the creator of the show, and where he created the character of Ian. It was a nephew that came up to him and said, "Hey, I'm gay," and that's how he wrote him in. Have you met the nephew? Has Paul Abbott talked to you about the nephew? Do you know that story through him or anything like that? Like, how much do you know?
I haven't met the nephew. He did mention him once before. He's talked about his family, somewhat extensively because the Gallaghers basically are this group of people that he grew up with. So I definitely did. He did mention him before and how this character was based off of him. But he didn't go too in depth so much as about the nephew as opposed to Ian and the character of Ian and how he feels that the character is and where he's going to be going throughout the series.
Interesting.
Very good.
All right.
That's fun.
By the way, I forgot to mention that the reason why I'm not hosting is because Bethany, I usually host, by the
I
way.
know.
Bethany clawed her way to host.
I didn't claw.
She did. I saw it.
I climbed. I didn't claw. There is a difference.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to get that out there for fans that listen to the show because of me.
All right.
There we go. That's my guy right
That's
there.
shameless, I know. But
It
so
is
one of the
quite-
fun last questions that I'm going to ask from one of our fans: what was Bob like, the character of Bob on set? Obviously, that was a huge episode when we met Monica and then her lover. What was
Roberta,
that
I think.
dynamic?
Roberta.
What did you think of the character, and then obviously what was she like as an actor?
Well, first of all, the character it's definitely one that it's not the most likable character
Yeah.
out there.
No, she's not. But I mean, they brought her in for a reason.
I mean,
so,
they brought her in for a reason. I think it's first of all to show that Monica does not have very great taste in her relationships. And also I think she kind of needed someone so dominant in her life because she was, I think very. I think she's always been a submissive person throughout her life, and one of the biggest things that she ever did was she left. She picked up and left, and that was a really big moment in her life, and she kind of needed a dominant person like Bob to rely on throughout her entire life, and she can't really make decisions on her own. So I think she provides a foil character to the Monica. And, as opposed to the actress, I mean, she was nothing like the character. Probably one of the sweetest people I've ever gotten to work with. She was really great, and she wasn't. She wasn't.
She wasn't strong.
No, she
wasn't
wasn't like
crazy?
that at all. Not at all.
Is there anybody who is a pain in the butt on set? You're not going to tell us.
Besides
but-
me?
Yeah, besides you.
Besides you.
That's the only-
I'm the diva. You
Okay,
got it.
okay.
You got me.
okay.
I knew it.
We had to try. We had to try.
Bethany, you owe me. We had bets. We had
Yeah.
bets.
Yeah, I think this set is really special because we don't have anyone like that. Everyone really is professional and just is focused on the work and wants to create the best product, and we're all willing to work with each other. And I don't think there's really ever been a moment where people have lost focus of that, and I'm really grateful of it.
That's really nice.
That's really nice.
really nice. It doesn't happen all the time.
No, not at all. And what is it like? Because I'm a huge Joan Cusack fan on the show. Like we haven't brought her up yet.
Joan. we
Huge
haven't.
fan.
How
Do
did we get
I don't
by
know.
without
Well, she
mentioning
wasn't on
it?
this
Definitely
She
not.
wasn't on
She wasn't in
there you
this
go.
episode. But what was it like? Do you ever sit and watch her, like, when you're not even in the scene with her? Have you ever just experienced this incredible whatever's happening in front of your face? What is that like?
Yeah, I mean, whenever she's in a scene, even if I'm not in that scene, if I'm around on set, if I'm waiting for the next scene or whatever, I love to come on set and to just watch her work. She's great. She's a really awesome, really humble person. It's actually funny. Like the first thing we did in Chicago when we got there, because that's where she lives. She invited us over to her house, and we went in. And we played video games and ate pizza and just relaxed. She's
So
she's
fun.
awesome.
That's
cool.
Yeah.
So fun.
That's great.
Yeah,
funny.
she's just a dream. She is so much fun to watch every episode. I can't get enough of her. And last episode when she came outside, which Tom missed.
I missed.
Such a
But
good
that's okay.
moment.
That's okay. We can replay it. We were just like literally like I got out of my seat and I was cheering because it was like she did it.
And similarly,
Yeah.
when you and it's Mickey, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
When the first time you guys were like you were fighting or whatever, and then all of a sudden the tables turned. All of us watching got like up out of our seats. We were like, ah! we get really
We
into
do.
it as we watch. Really into it.
But I did not see that coming. Did you see that coming, or do they give you like a heads up beforehand, like okay, in a couple episodes you
You'll be
two,
banging that
it's
guy,
gonna
that-
be going on, or did you like get the script and go, oh,
Really?
Um,
Me and you, buddy.
That moment got spoiled for me, unfortunately. That was one of the things because that was a part of the British series. Although I guess that didn't come into much later, around the 4th season, as opposed to our show, which is it's in the first. But so it got spoiled, but at the same time, it definitely still didn't. It still had a lot of impact when I read it from the script. It's still
yeah.
it's a big moment.
And when you do something like that, because it is an intimate scene, is it a closed set? I mean, I know you have to like implicitly trust the people around you when you're doing something like that. What goes on? Do they just say, just okay, Grips, get out of here? Like, what's the process?
Yeah, we have a lot of closed sets on our show. But the crew is always extremely respectful of that. We whenever there's anyone who has nudity or sex scene, it always goes down to if you have to be here, then stay. But if you don't need to be standing here right now, please, can you give the actor some space? And they do. They always do.
Yeah.
Which is really, really respectful. So it's definitely not like the full crew standing there.
Yeah, well, no, because I mean, all of the work that you're doing, they are all private moments.
Like this one we're about to
Yeah,
witness.
I know. Oh my God. Yeah,
Crazy.
if you can see this.
Shocker.
I mean, they are all private moments, but some just happen to be a little bit more private than others.
Yeah.
And so you wonder how the actor ends up having to handle it. But it sounds like you have such a lovely.
comfortable environment.
Yeah.
It is. I think that's the perfect word to describe it. I think the actors are very comfortable with each other, and we talked about that a little bit, where we've gotten to a point where we can kind of laugh and joke about it and watch it, and we realize that this is part of a show, and it's not something where you look at each other in a different way, and also the set is extremely comfortable as well.
Yeah, that's
Great.
wonderful.
That's great.
Yay! Do you have any other
Hooray.
questions? Are we?
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I not a question, more so a comment. I think you're a phenomenal actor, and I think you're well on your way to being the Leonardo DiCaprio of your age. You're moving in the right direction, so keep it up. And your mother's your mother's
A
the best.
gem.
She's the
A
best.
gem of a human being.
So you're connected
She's sitting
to the,
over here if you
She's
can't
trying
see.
to hide.
No, it
Yeah.
yeah, she's the best.
tough
So
the
you're
storm
connected
and
to the
came.
right people. So I can see that you have no limit. So
Well, thank you very
kudos to
much.
you, man.
If I had half the success of Leonardo DiCaprio, I would be happy with that.
You have more than half.
You're doing great work. We
Doing
just-
really, really great
we
work.
love watching
Absolutely.
it.
And we've said it, everyone who's ever sat in the room watching the show has always mentioned the work that you've done. So it's really, really, we commend you for it. We
Yeah.
enjoy
Thank you
you
very
every
much.
week.
Yeah.
We're all very
definitely.
excited that you're here.
Yay! Should we hit the episode?
Yeah, and also just so
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Cameron, he's gonna be hosting with us on this particular episode. So he's going to make comments just like we are, and he's going to make jokes like we are.
And I want to know the inside scoop because we watched this with a clean eye. But feel free to be like, yeah, right before that scene, like my stomach hurt and I didn't want to do it.
Absolutely.
Like I love when that Meryl Streep says at the end of Sophie's Choice when they're doing that shot of her and she looks so sad and we're projecting a crazy amount of stuff onto her that she's like, yeah, I was just thinking what I was gonna make for dinner. And you're
I know
like,
we were thinking real
but-
deep, you know.
but it's the end of the movie. Did you really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's start. Let's start with Frank. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I got like a blast.
We're in there
I love
now.
that. He loses his workers' comp and takes a tour of the most unsafe jobs in the Chicago area. So
That was really good, Bethany.
thank
Good
you,
job.
Yeah.
thank you. I
Her
appreciate
accent
that.
was pretty.
Thank you.
That's pretty good.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about that. And he takes his two children.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting that he would take his kids, like, they say train a child in the way they should go and they shall not depart from it. It's kind of funny that.
I haven't heard that.
Oh
saying
well, yeah,
before.
it's in the Bible actually.
Okay.
But it's kind of interesting how he takes his young kids and he's taking them on this little like tour of how to be a crook, and he's teaching them the way that they should here's how you get over on people. I thought that was kind of funny how that.
He introduces them to the family business.
Exactly.
of Frank.
That's exactly what he
Yeah.
said. He said, "I'm gonna introduce you to the family business."
Yeah.
And he's actually training them, taking them step by step into his lifestyle.
I love when he's sitting there with Gary and he goes, Gary, show me the special list.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That actor was great.
I know
Yeah,
it's
he was
there, and
great.
Gary's struggling
He's
with it.
looking around
He's
like, okay, this one's deep. Like it was a
and
major
he
drug
looks
deal.
over the booth, and there's the lady like
Launching the cheeseburger.
chomping on her sandwich.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Yeah, and
classic.
yeah, I mean, God, all of those jobs.
It's incredible.
And then he finds a job that is so lovely and
He takes off.
It's a great job and with a really nice person to work with.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
And-
talking about the
yeah,
job he actually
yeah,
took.
I'm talking about
Oh,
the
I
job
thought
that
you
he
said- okay.
actually took.
Okay.
I mean, and it's like this lovely person who's like
Which
so
one?
sensitive.
So
The big
funny.
black guy?
What was
Yeah.
his name?
A big black guy.
Is
Big,
that
big,
the
big
black
black
guy?
coworker guy.
Yeah, he was.
I don't
he
know
was,
his name,
It was
but-
funny because this guy's like he was like 260, and he's like a big guy, and he's like, I lost my friend. He was my favorite friend,
So
and he's
funny.
crying, so sensitive,
love
and
it.
it's kind of funny how Shameless does that. Just like I was saying, they make the parodies how. This big guy and he's really soft, and then they have the little guy and he's really hard. So it's kind of interesting how they do that kind of
Well,
stuff.
yeah, no, it is, and he eventually shoots himself.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that.
How?
Yeah.
I could
couldn't
believe
watch
that.
it.
I could believe that.
I can.
I believe
He grew
it.
desperate.
Yeah, I mean, last week he threw his kid in front of a car.
Yeah,
so let's be
exactly. So
honest.
he's gonna do
He
anything.
made it to lunch and then he had to.
I love
Yeah.
that for
Right
lunch.
there.
If anyone noticed, he had like 3 or 4 grapes.
Yeah.
He was like, literally, he opened up his plastic bag. He's like, "Well, that was a great lunch." I'm like, you had grapes.
I guess I don't.
Yeah,
I
definitely
don't. I'm
said
not like so familiar with alcoholism. He doesn't need to eat that much, does he?
I don't know. I'm not
I don't
familiar,
know,
but I
like-
just love that it was just grapes for
It
lunch.
was just grapes.
And then how he has his hand was wrapped up and it was totally shaped like he was holding a bottle. Like
Yeah.
so did he ask them to wrap it up that way so just in case he puts a Bud Light or whatever into his
Yeah.
hand and just be perfect?
Yeah.
You think that's what he did?
I probably.
Oh,
probably.
good.
Yeah.
He was like,
I
"Hey,
mean,
make
put it
sure
past
it's."
him.
What do you think?
He's like, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, I don't know about the cast, but
we get pretty far fetched. So
Yeah,
like,
we
we
go
go
far.
off
Yeah,
on
we go. Yeah,
tangents,
we go
and
on
you're like, feel free to be like, dude, you're thinking way too far.
no, I definitely wouldn't put it past him that he would do something like
Yeah.
that. But I think it's that moment where he does, put the nail through his hand. I think that's a really important moment for him
Yeah.
because you realize that this is a good job. This is a job that most people would love to have right now. They say about the economy and people are lucky to have an opportunity like this, but Frank doesn't want normality. He can't handle something like that.
Not
He
at all.
needs to fall back into his addiction, and that's all he can have in his life.
Yeah, he wants to
Right.
sit back on his butt and just collect a paycheck,
And drink.
and
Yeah,
drink
he
and,
likes to have his
and
day to
apparently
himself.
OD on Oxycontin.
What?
It's crazy. Like
It's just more drugs keep getting introduced. That's
he's like-
dangerous, right?
well, he came in for one
I mean,
thing.
I don't know for
Extremely.
sure, but
Well, he came in staggering as it was, so he was completely gone off the medication that they gave him, and then he turns around and he has a beer in
know.
his hand, and then he has a beer in his hand, and then he goes for the Oxycontin and he's on that, and he takes a couple of pills, and he's like, you know what, I want
thank
the rest of it.
God they set that up. If
It
they
was
didn't
crazy.
set that up,
It's
it
crazy.
would have
It's
been
classic.
dangerous.
Yeah,
I'm super curious. Are you rooting for Tony or Steve?
That's a really tough question.
I know it
as a
is.
viewer, as a fan, because you're a fan of Shameless.
No,
We talked about that.
I mean, even as a fan, I think both of these guys have a lot wrong with them, and it's hard. It's hard to say who's going to be better for Fiona in the long run, and I think she's kind of in a place right now where she won't be able to really decide either. This is a really really tough question. I think that after the events of this episode, I'm probably going to have to lean more towards Steve.
Steve, exactly, until she
Yeah.
finds out he's Jimmy. Like, really, that's crazy.
I don't know.
It's,
What do
it's
you
taking
guys
me on an
think?
emotional roller coaster.
It is.
Okay.
It
And I'm getting real tired.
He said, I'm getting real tired.
I was surprised that Tony was so violent with Steve. I mean,
Oh my God.
he
He
hasn't-
really likes Fiona to
we
get like.
haven't seen him go there until this episode, and he was, I mean, like,
Punched him.
He
and
followed
beat him up.
Steve around for a few days.
Yeah.
Steve Jimmy. He followed him around for a few days.
Steve
I mean,
Jimmy.
That's just like
first name.
that's someone who's a little obsessive.
it's a
you
little
know.
creepy.
But now he's really screwed because he pulled the boys over.
Yeah.
What
those
about that?
those damn tinted windows.
Yeah.
The moment I saw, did you not feel that
I
when
knew,
you saw
I
I knew
them?
that. I knew it was
You're
coming.
like,
I was just
uh-oh.
hoping it
Oh
wouldn't.
God, lips doing work. Oh
Yep.
no, it's
Yep.
so. That was yeah. That was. See, I have a theory on the boys. Here's my theory. I think that Tony is totally like, he doesn't see Fiona for who she is at all, but he is who he is. He's an authentic man, but he just doesn't. He
Stalker.
can't-
She's got a little stalker
He
sting.
doesn't know who she is. I mean, he
Right.
just thinks she's this sweet, wonderful girl who lives next door and doesn't like see beyond his painted image of her, which is not who she actually is.
Right.
Whereas Steve totally sees who she is, gets it, but he's not authentic because he's lying about who he
Yeah.
is. And I just kind of want to like merge them together
Yeah.
and make like one beautiful, authentic human being.
Yeah.
We call him Timmy.
Yeah, I think that. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good assessment. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
You win.
that's
I
nothing
win
else.
because I've been on this theory for a while.
Who's
now.
gonna deny you anyway?
Authenticity
you.
and passion
I
merging
appreciate it.
together.
Yeah.
I think that's
I
great.
like.
One
I
perfect
think
man.
I think that's the wonderful thing about this triangle of relationship that they've created is that you're just like, if only they just joined together and were just one person. But you can't have that.
Yeah. Especially not on this
real
show.
life.
No, not on this
Not
show.
on
Not
this
if you want
show.
to stay on. You can't.
No calm. What about Amy Smart? Wait, what's her character's
Jasmine?
name again?
Jasmine.
There we go.
Ooh, Lord.
What is going
Lord.
on? What is this?
Yeah, what is that about?
Question
I,
right there.
That's steamy.
yeah, I wonder what what her character, what she's up to. I want to know what she's up to.
Yeah.
She comes. Even Fiona was like, "Well, why are you being so nice
I
to me?"
love that she
and,
said that.
And she really didn't have a solid answer for that.
No.
And then like her husband, Hal, he comes up to her and he's like, he's making comments and
Yeah,
They're
like
both
nice
scared.
ass.
they hire her without even an interview
Hire
process.
her for what? again?
Exactly.
Accounting. And if you know she is good with money, she is good with numbers because she has to be to make her family survive.
I
so
felt like there was more to
Exactly,
the
because she was like, I got
hiring.
this alcohol, and then she takes a walk with her, and she kisses her all the time in her lips, and
I mean, Tom, you keep having these prostitution theories.
Yeah.
We had this
constantly.
constantly.
I've said that almost every character. Prostitution.
Wait, no, I want to. I kind of had the feeling of swingers.
Swingers?
yeah, that's what I got. I
was
got too.
definitely going.
I got this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I think she's trying
They
to
wanna
get
invite
her.
in.
Yeah, she's trying to get her comfortable enough to
To do
know,
a little threesome
yeah, to do a
action.
little threesome
But
action.
her husband is so not attractive.
Oh, it was so depressing.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
I love how like
No.
ethically and morally I'm like, okay, whatever. But I'm like, he's so not attractive.
Well, I
Oh, it was
expected
horrible.
that. I expected
Yeah.
that. Reason why yeah, because those are the ones that really cheat.
Really?
Yeah, you're not gonna cheat on a nice looking person, right?
No.
Oh, you mean like
really?
she's not going to cheat on a nice looking
Hey,
person?
she's not. If he's a
She's
good looking guy, if he's a good looking guy, she's not
Oh.
going to be like, oh, I want to mess with someone else. At least, I never had that problem.
It looks a little dangerous though.
Yeah, it looks really
Danger
dangerous.
Will Robinson right there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And and she's not like being soft about it either. She's like, I'm gonna kiss you on the mouth goodbye.
In front of everybody.
And I love it's Kevin, right? The bartender. who's
Yes.
Yep.
Kevin. I love it. He's like, you made my boy parts.
Because guys like
so funny.
well, it's interesting because that's something that men tend to like, and I never, as a man, I never understood why men like to see other women. We'll see women kiss each other or stuff like that. They do it all the time. Like it's kind of one of those
I
things.
feel like Phil could answer that question for
Yeah,
us.
Phil?
Phil?
What? Throwing me under the bus.
He's our
Resident pervert.
resident misogynist.
He's a resident pervert. Yeah. Tell us, pervert.
Resident pervert.
Yeah. Pervert Phil.
Hey, I said misogynist.
As he's over there
So,
rubbing.
could you answer that for us?
Are you enjoying when they make out?
Yeah, when the
Well,
girl.
it's gonna happen in a second on TV right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not the biggest fan now.
Okay.
It's
all
when
right.
Karen is making
You know
out
what?
with someone.
We're always full of
By the way,
surprises
speaking
here.
of Karen,
Yeah.
okay, everyone knows, you guys have now taken my comment of like she looks cute to basically me being a pedophile.
Yeah,
Thank
right,
you.
Right.
Basically.
By
I
the way,
think
so
you've
now
done
that she's
that.
gone to the evil side,
You don't
No,
want her
I
anymore.
don't care.
You don't want her anymore.
Oh
Not into
wow,
it.
you don't like her.
Because he wants
as
to
a
make her
brunette.
evil. That's what he wants to turn her
no.
out.
Yeah.
Oh my
I liked
gosh.
her the sweet girl that she was.
Oh.
On the outside, and then
Well, you know what? Let's. You know
That's right,
what?
Jesse.
Now that you've brought her up, let's go there. Let's talk about it. I was gonna
Yeah.
save it for the end.
You guys go there.
But
I'm
no,
not
no,
going
no,
there.
no. I think you've touched upon something really interesting because
I've touched nothing.
yeah, exactly. I'm innocent. I tell you. Yeah.
I think like
Right.
her personal dynamic that we've been so intrigued with for this whole show is that she looks angelic. She looks like a sweet, beautiful angel from heaven, and she's this naughty girl who is wounded
Dirty.
and injured, and who doesn't do nice things and isn't nice to other people. And so because she's had that juxtaposition, we've really enjoyed watching her. But now that she has fully gone to the dark side, Phil's not so into her.
No.
But I think that speaks to her dynamic, which is like why we like to watch her.
Right.
And so
For me personally,
Yeah.
it allowed me to understand why she's the way she is. I mean, she's clearly just like most, people that are young and that are, to the dark side, if you will. They're lashing out, or they're trying to get their parents' attention, and they're
Right.
like, hey, look at me. This is I want you to, love me and pay attention to me.
And I think that's one thing that's true for sure about Karen is that she's always looking for her parents' approval. And she's always she's like, remember when she was like, Mom, really come to the parents' night. I really want you there.
Yeah.
She was always looking to her, and I think it's right. And now as she goes crazy in this episode,
Yeah.
like
that
berserko.
her not having a father has really, really affected her in a very negative way. And then especially when she went to the purity dance, which is crazy to me. But she went to this purity thing, and her father put her out on blast, if you will, for called her a whore. It really, really affected her to the point where she's really, really going to the left and really, really
I'm so sad for her. I'm so deeply sad for her character. She just seems, she's just so injured, and she's lashing out, and she's inflicting pain on, like, physically onto herself.
She got really ugly in this episode.
The nose ring and
the
chain,
tattoo. Like
the black
we're all
hair.
just got, like, turned upside down.
She's just like really, and it happened so quickly.
Right. Well, I think this is a character that's been being brought to a boiling point the entire time, but no one really realized it until this episode and the one before. But I think she was acting a certain way throughout the entire series, and you have to wonder, why is she doing this? Why is she so willing to be, I mean, she's obviously was sleeping around a lot with a lot of different guys, and that can show some sort of sign of insecurity underlying, and I think that was definitely there the entire time, but really, that moment at the purity ball is what has sparked off, is really multiplied that inside of her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so because it's true, we have brought up before that she has those moments in the episode where you're just like, what is she doing? What is she doing with her life?
I know, and I just wonder how Lip's gonna react to this. Later.
I think that he's. I think later. I think.
What?
I mean,
I
we don't.
Yeah, I know. He has a smile on his face right now.
I can't give too much away.
Damn it!
But I will say that video has a lot of repercussions for a lot of different characters, and you won't even be able to be prepared for some of the stuff that happens.
And you heard it first on AfterBuzz.
Yeah. I do have to say
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Listen, you heard it first.
that she did get that website up awful fast. I'm just saying, if you've ever tried to launch, if you've ever tried to launch a website, it takes a little bit of time. It's kind of hard. It's a little complicated.
And it looks really good too.
Yeah.
So she must have had some graphic designer AV friends in high school.
Maybe
that was
she,
slept with.
Yeah,
That she
slept
slept
with.
with.
It was like, yo, build me a website.
Yeah.
Come on over.
Absolutely.
But it happened pretty quickly.
Phil was over there in a heartbeat. You know, web designer, you.
Oh, poor Phil.
Oh, it's fun. We have fun here.
But she, I mean, they planted the seed a few episodes back in the tub and the whole reveal of her naked and her flirting with Frank, and then they dropped it for a good while. So we've been kind of going.
Phil brought it up all the time. He was,
he went to the conference for her.
Yeah.
And he took the credit for her, and so there was always that tension, but very, very subtle.
See, I told you, Phil, he never let it go.
Yeah, he definitely
predicted
predicted that. He did. He had a great
about it all.
prediction.
I was hoping that, like, I mean, no, how can I say that? I mean, it's far more interesting that this has occurred. But on some deep level, I was like, no, don't do it. Don't have sex with your pseudo boyfriend's father. Who's your mother's boyfriend lover. Like, don't do it. But she
did it.
She did.
So Phil, what makes, like, which part don't?
Which part?
Hold on, this guy. Which part of? I'm cracking up at this guy. He cracks me up. But which part of that makes you turned off by her? Is it the fact that she slept with Frank, or the fact that she's gone to the dark side as far as her hair and spray painting and stuff like that, which is unattractive to you?
Just a whole different personality. Like something inside of her cracked. For lack of a better term, she's not the same whore as before. And that's really it. It's a whole different personality. She's a new person.
She's broken. Before she had cracks in her. Before
she
had some cracks, and now she's a broken girl.
She always had issues, but at the same time, it was masked by this overwhelming confidence. And now that struggle that was within her has exploded, and its appearance is outward.
Yeah. So the dam is overflowing.
Do you think, I mean, yes, the website is titled Daddyz Girl, and it's in regards to her dad, but do you think she was planning on doing this with Frank the whole time?
No, I actually.
Like when she
go
set
ahead.
up
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Cameron, he's shaking his head no. So.
No, I don't think so, but I think it's an important little piece of symbolism there. I mean, Frank is kind of a father figure to her. He's become a bit of a pseudo father figure, and her actual father is kind of been pushing more towards the sexual repression of her, and she acts sexually with his father figure, which I think is also showing a little bit signs of her psychology as well. It's giving little hints and glances, and the fact that this like video with Frank is on a site called Daddyz Girl is also I mean
It works.
See, that's what makes the writing on Shameless great.
That is.
We've also been like trying between all of us to figure out her age. I don't know why we just didn't look it up. But it's been Phil because Phil's like she's older, she's
clearly
older, and we're
The
like no,
actress is
she's
not 15. It wouldn't work like that, right?
she's 20 something.
22, I want to say.
20 is it 22? Yeah, I know.
Believe so. And so I'm
no,
not a pedophile.
No, you're not a
because
pedophile. She's definitely post.
He's cleared. He's cleared in. He's yes. I'm not a pedophile.
See,
So there you go.
he feels way less guilty.
I know exactly.
I've always felt less guilty. These
I just
guys
like
have
them that
made
look
me
young.
these guys have attempted to make me feel guilty.
We have done no such thing.
she's a young girl, Phil.
On TV. It's like saying Leah Michelle, oh my God, that girl. Well, no, she's actually not that young.
Everyone on that show is a little bit older than high school. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
So-
they are. They are.
So you just go around looking for 22-year-olds that look like they're 13. Is that
that's
your?
not it at all.
That's what you do. Oh.
We
I'm just-
torture you here.
What is
'Cause
the next
we
subject
can-
so we
'cause
can...
No, we are. No, I
because
do
we
want to
love.
get it. We've saved the best for last because we have Cameron here, and this storyline was lovely. I'm curious. Are you searching for the father, or is Lip, or are both of you? What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't think Ian really has any interest in finding his actual father because he feels he's a part of this family and he doesn't want to be any less part of it by acknowledging someone else as his father. Whether or not it's biological isn't important to him. I mean, he's grown up. This is his brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
This is who he is.
So what makes you? Are you placating your brother? Are you just like kind of curious? Are you just doing it to satisfy his needs? Is that why you go on this journey with him?
I think he's just being supportive of his brother, and it's like whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm just kind of tagging along because you're basically forcing me to do this. But I think Lip is definitely the one who he's trying to break out. He's trying to branch out. He doesn't fully want to be a part of this family. He has this disdain for Frank that's showing up more and more, as opposed to Ian, where I think it's pretty beautifully stated, where he says that this is who I am. This is my family. If you can't accept that, then that's your own fault. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel that I actually feel Ian's story because I grew up without my biological father, and it's like one of those things where I have brothers and sisters. They all have the same father and mother, but me and my little sister, we don't have the same father as my older siblings, but yet we're all still a family. We don't see each other as half. We don't say, oh, this is my half brother, this is my half sister. We're like, this is my brother, this is my sister.
Yeah.
So I can relate to Ian's story where it's like, you know what? I don't really need to see this guy. I don't really need to be a part of his life because I already have my family. I already have my nucleus, and I'm comfortable. And I don't want to be looked at as half. I'm a whole. It's a whole situation. We got in this together. We go through a lot of struggles together.
Right.
We if I'm starving, you're starving. If I'm eating, you're eating. So I definitely can relate to that story, and that's why I love Shameless because it's so like it's really deep how it's portrayed.
And Bethany, you were talking about how Lip is sort of looking for a way out even and how that's like his shame.
Yeah.
So he almost looks at Ian like you have
You have an
this,
opportunity,
this nice house and these people who are, showing you photographs and, he's kind of looking at it as like an opportunity to get out. But
Right.
Ian is like,
Oh, I'm good.
I'm in
good.
like for the long haul, So it's an interesting dynamic.
That is deep, Colette, the way you portrayed that, because I didn't really think about it like that until you just said that.
Oh yeah, Lip wants out.
Yeah, totally. He wants out, but it's funny that he wants out. I mean, he has his ticket out. He's so brilliant, but yet he's looking through other people to find a way out.
Well, clearly he wants
not-
a mother and a father.
Yeah.
More so than just having academics and being
I love that.
successful. He'd rather have the family situation, whereas Ian's like, you know what, I have my family, and I just want to exist with them.
You seem to be, as Ian, so much more accepting compared to Lip, as far as
And Fiona,
they I mean, like, Lip seems really angry. Why is it that you're so accepting of Frank and his disease, really?
I think that Ian kind of tolerates Frank because as much of a terrible father he's been, he didn't leave like Monica. He's still there, and even though he's not a good father and he's barely a father, he still is, at least by namesake, a father. He's someone that's still around, and I think that he wouldn't be able to push his actual father away. It's just not something he's capable of doing. It's the family unit is really, really important to him, and like you said, half's not whole. I thought that was really interesting because the earlier episodes with Liam, where it's not even discussed that Liam, obviously looks different from the rest of the family because he is part of the family. He's one of their, he's their brother. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether or not he might have came from a different father or something like that. They always accepted him completely as a whole. That's his brother.
And jumping off of, I want to bring back the episode where Monica comes in, the very first episode she comes in, and what your reaction as Ian's reaction to that is won't even look at her, won't even acknowledge her existence. But, like we were saying, you're so accepting of Frank and you're okay, you kind of roll with the punches with Frank and it doesn't really affect you as much. Why does Monica cut you so deep?
Well, I think he was old enough that when she left that, he really fully experienced. He wasn't old enough where he'd kind of grown independent of her, but he was old enough where, he'd experienced an entire life where that's his mother. That's, so I think that he was probably the one who was hurt the most by her leaving. And I think he holds her in contempt because that he has this massive disdain for her because he's so hurt that she chose to leave him when he needed her.
Right.
That's true.
That makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Between Cash and Mickey, what are you thinking?
Who do you like to do?
Yeah,
the most?
no. I mean, but like, what's going on there? What do you do? Oh, I guess you can't tell us. You can't tell us what's going to happen next. But actually, I'm backtracking a little. There was a gorgeous scene. Sorry, where you were in Cash's bedroom, and you freak out. I was dying to know what was going through your head. Dying.
You mean as Ian or as Cameron?
As Ian.
As Ian.
Yeah. As Cameron too, but as Ian first.
I think it was the reality of the situation. It's one thing that he was cheating with Cash, and he was aware of obviously Linda, Cash's wife, and that there's these kids, but going to the house and really disrespecting the family in this way and experiencing all these pictures and the stuff around the bedroom was just too much for him. It was overwhelming. He couldn't stand feeling like that, so he had to get at that. He liked the relationship how it is, and he couldn't handle being in that kind of situation.
Probably felt like he was breaking up a happy home if he saw all the pictures and stuff.
Yeah, he felt like a home wrecker, and that's he's actually going into their home. That's just too much for him.
Was any of the cultural stuff? Did any of that turn you off? Because you had I felt like, did you come from an ROTC weekend? And so I felt like that had just occurred, and then you walk in and you see all these signs in Arabic as well. Is there any cultural confusion there?
I think that probably bothers Ian the least.
Okay.
Out of all the things about Cash, I don't think he cares at all that he's Muslim. Or that I think it's more he's seeing parts of his personality that he doesn't like, and he sees this relationship with Linda, and that he's cheating through him, and I think that's the thing that could turn Ian off more than anything.
That's wow, my goodness. I'm kind of rooting for Mickey. I'm sorry, but
really?
that's where
really?
I'm at.
You want?
I am I'm just a little bit.
Wait, what do you want from? You want them to?
I'm just rooting. I'm rooting for you, because you have a love triangle as well going on a little bit that's happening, and I'm just
So you want him and Mickey to?
you know what? I'm a little angry with Cash right now. I'll be honest, because he's just
soft.
I mean, yeah, and he hides, and I know Mickey hides too, and I know he's a little rough around the edges, but I'm hoping in Mickey's youth he can maybe come around a little bit and be more gentle, whereas I feel like Cash is like, I don't think Cash is going to change.
I think they're both, a little bit broken in different regards. Mickey obviously has a lot going on in his life. He's really repressed, and he's acting out in all these different ways, and he's overcompensating, and he's trying to be this big tough guy all the time. And also, Cash obviously he is gay, but he doesn't know how to break out from his community without hurting and leaving his wife and all these different things. So I think it's kind of interesting. It's a little bit of a parallel to Tony and Steve, where there's no such thing as like a perfect relationship. In the show, they're with Karen and Lip, with Tony and Steve and Mickey and Cash. All these people, they feel this attraction towards each other, but that something's going to go wrong because, nobody's a perfect fit.
Yeah, this is true. This
Very
is
good.
Well said. Well said. I also was thrilled, even though Mickey was in jail, I was very happy that he had showered.
Yeah, he was clean.
He's so dirty.
He's so dirty.
Does that take a long time in makeup, or
just noticed
the
that.
last time when you were the three of you were sitting on the couch, as if it was like the other day. I'm like, the last time.
When you guys were all sitting on the couch, remember that? When you were all making fun of the guy?
He's like, oh, this is creepy.
I'm sure he gets that though. No, he probably gets that. He was like, I don't like you.
But Mickey was like exceptionally dirty that time.
Well, I think it's also interesting that after the relationship with Cash, the first thing he does is go with someone entirely different.
Totally different.
He's the exact opposite of what Cash represents. He instead of being submissive like Cash, he's really strong, and Cash is a very kind of clean guy, and then Mickey is just this grungy, completely opposite. So I think it's kind of interesting where he goes the complete opposite direction.
Yeah.
And I think and clearly Mickey's sister is developing a crush on you. No, is that?
Yeah, I think Mandy.
It's there.
I think Mandy definitely, it has feelings towards Ian, and I think it's because Ian kind of accepts her for who she is, and he doesn't just want her for her body. He wants her for more than that, as like just a friend, and she's smitten with that. She wishes she could find someone who was like Ian.
I think that's what we're all searching for.
That's what I was about to say. I think that's the thing that women look for.
We're looking
that's like
that can see you.
Yeah.
That can see you for who you are, and also be authentic and honest with you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what she has
It'll
with
never
you.
happen.
You are absolutely authentic. Well, you're almost authentic and honest.
Almost.
You
Until
were.
recently.
You were for a couple episodes.
Yeah.
And you were totally authentic and honest with her, and you saw her for who she was. And for I think for anybody, that is like, that's what we hope for in our relationships.
Or just someone that looks like that.
Absolutely.
Curtis, are you
Absolutely.
watching?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I did. I focused. I didn't even hear what she said.
She's just like,
She said something. Yeah.
wow, I think
She's
that's
great to me. My goodness. She's
she's
I don't there's something about her. I don't know what it is. It's something in her eyes that makes her like very, very attractive.
By the way, for those of you listening on the podcast,
I'm
only
sorry.
audio,
Yeah.
we're looking at Emmy on TV because we like to keep the show running in the background.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
If Fiona, she's or Emmy.
Yeah, and she looks great without makeup. That's what's amazing.
Absolutely.
Like they like get her, and I think they've progressively like found her rough and tough look like throughout the episodes, and now they've like really nailed it.
Yeah.
But she looks absolutely stunning, and her like hair is greasy, and I don't think she has any makeup on, and she's in dodgy, ripped up clothes, and you're like, wow,
She's sexy.
how is that possible?
Yeah.
That's possible.
She's just hot in general.
Yeah.
She is.
Good at what she does. Pretty.
I love her. I think she's doing great work on this show. I think she's doing really good work. Guys, I think we've covered
We've covered the show.
Oh, Nurse Ratched. Cameron's mom so lovely pointed out to us that their grandmother is Nurse Ratched from To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah,
which
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
sorry, okay, I was close.
Both bird movies.
It
Yeah,
involved
exactly.
a bird
Both bird
and
movies.
movies in like of the early 70s,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So I was close.
Yeah.
What was it like? I just one last question. What was it like getting to act with her?
Oh, she's awesome. It was fantastic getting a chance to work with her. You know, she's so intense when you watch her in the scene, and she played this part so great. She's got that hardness to her that it was really awesome just having the chance to do that.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
she was scary.
She was
If
so
that was my
scary.
grandma, I'd be like,
And then she's like, it was kind of funny that she was negotiating with her kids, like it was a deal. Like, what's in it for me?
She
Yeah.
did. She
I'll
did
tell you
say
your
that.
brother's name if you buy me
Exactly, you buy
cigarettes.
some cigarettes.
Like,
A nice
doesn't
pack of
stop.
cool.
The Gallaghers don't stop.
No, they
do
don't.
not
They don't.
stop.
It didn't fall too far from the tree. Actually, she's a hustler for real.
It's always a
real.
Hustling her
negotiation.
grandkids for some cigarettes.
Wow.
And you can get everything else in
In
the
j- in
penitentiary,
prison.
but
But
cigarettes you
ciggies.
can't.
yeah,
No, you can't.
those are hard to get. That's
No, it's hard to
interesting.
get. It's kinda
Well,
interesting.
Cameron, thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh,
today.
thank
that was
you.
a
Thanks for
pleasure
having me here.
you.
It was great. Should we go to our news and gossip?
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about?
Janice is a drama queen.
This is the divide that is.
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about?
Janice is a drama queen.
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call at 347-855-8269.
This television, and they want it to be as dramatic as possible.
I mean, it's Shakespearean.
You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Get in on the AfterBuzz. 347-855-8269.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Nucky is a villain.
Listen on iTunes.
I mean, who would you guys rather hear that from?
Find us on Facebook.
Your husband or your best friend?
Follow us on Twitter.
But then she's trying to kill him, so it justifies it. I'm like, oh, now it makes sense.
And visit us at AfterBuzzTV.com.
The wig will come off. That wig come off, baby. Oh, what?
Boardwalk Empire. Desperate Housewives. Glee. Gossip Girl. Breaking Bad. Mad Men. True Blood. The Walking Dead. Big Love. Jersey Shore. The Oscars. Celebrity Rehab. The Emmys. If it's hot, you can bet we'll be buzzing about it. AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, so Cameron Monaghan will be making a special guest appearance this Tuesday as NCIS returns with its first new episode in 3 weeks. You can catch Cameron Tuesday on CBS at 8 p.m.
See, that's pretty interesting because I didn't know all those things, and then it's on the news and gossip. So it was pretty interesting. You nailed that. You nailed that, right?
I'm gonna watch it. I love. Actually, my father loved NCIS. I don't know about you or your parents. Crazy about the show. So I'm gonna watch it. It's something that I can talk about with my dad. And it's nice to have like little things that, like you have, like especially when they live across the country, that you can share. We watch NCIS and talk about it and Ghost Hunters.
And now you get to watch Cameron.
And so
What do you think about that guy, Cameron?
Yeah.
Like Cameron Monaghan, what do you think about him?
Who?
The guy, Cameron.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, he's okay.
Okay.
I thought so too. He's a pretty nice guy.
So did you enjoy working on the NCIS set?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a really, it was a really nice set to come in. And sometimes when you come in for a guest star, it can be a kind of a cold experience, but I didn't get that at all. Everyone was really welcoming, both cast and crew, which is pretty rare, and I had a good time. It's a really meaty episode too, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it.
Very good.
Well.
So tune into that on Tuesday, 8 o'clock.
All right, and that's your AfterBuzz TV Shameless news and gossip for the week of March 20th, 2011.
So our news and gossip was just about you, Cameron.
All right.
Now,
Exciting.
your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, we have predictions. So I guess we'll all go
time.
first, and then you'll go last, or you're not allowed to say.
I don't think I
You
can say
but
predictions
like,
here.
wait,
can't
you
predict.
can also make up something ridiculous if you want. You could be like, the aliens are gonna land and take my body and use it. I
Well, this
mean-
is the apocalypse episode
Okay,
where everyone
see?
dies at the end.
Okay, so that's your prediction. I love it. I love it. Okay, I have to think of it a little bit.
Well,
you go
what
first.
I think is bringing up when we were talking about the Daddy Girls website, and someone on the other end of the table, Mr. Cameron, gave this huge smile and then told us there's going to be major repercussions. And I think that's a great. I mean, it's clear
Yeah.
that this is going to happen, and there's going to be some serious blow-ups, some really, really serious blow-ups. And I think Lip is going to see it, and then obviously someone's going to get hurt because we saw Karen's dad going crazy searching for Frank. You know, it looks like someone's going to get shot. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if someone gets shot.
Yeah.
Really?
I think someone's going to get shot, and there's going to be prostitution.
And yes, you're here. I'm gonna piggyback on that and say I am deeply concerned for Lip and Joan. I just call her Joan. I'm sorry I don't call her by her character's name, but she's just Joan to me. I'm just so deeply concerned for them because I think they're gonna. I mean, they're already living complicated lives. I don't want them to be hurt, and I think this is gonna just really damage them. And I'm also I'm concerned for Fiona because her guy's gonna split town. I think he's gonna go because I don't think he has any choice.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but she's definitely not going anywhere. I think
That's why I don't think he's gonna skip. He's gonna skip town. She's not going anywhere.
But what is he gonna do?
I think that he might go into hiding, or I don't know, but
for a little while.
Okay, and what's gonna happen with their arrest? I don't know.
I think they're gonna get off.
Yeah.
I think those kids are gonna get off. I think you guys are gonna get off. I don't think you're going to jail. I mean,
I think
Lip
you're
was
safe.
offering himself up, as we saw in the little spoiler there. Lip offers himself up, but I think that there's gonna be some. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some exchange between Fiona and Tony and being some kind of deal happening right there.
Yeah, she'll talk him into
I
letting
like
them
it.
out.
I like it. So we have the apocalypse episode to look forward to.
Everything's ending.
Yeah.
And I predict more of the same.
More of the same. I love it. I love it. Thank you again.
Thank you so
for
much.
being
Thank
here,
you.
Cameron.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Woo!
Fantastic.
And thanks Cameron's mother for allowing you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Driving through the monsoon.
Oh,
Yeah,
we didn't
absolutely.
even mention
Yeah,
there was
this
a
crazy monsoon. We're all gonna swim home.
FYI, huge monsoon outside. It's crazy time weather. If you're driving, which we all are,
Be careful.
yeah, be safe.
And I'm building an ark.
Good.
I'm gonna ride in it.
Here we go. Just bring two of you. Yo, one more of you.
Emmy Rossum, she's coming. That's the
Oh
two.
yeah, there we go. There we go.
I like it.
For producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions, comments, or would like to host an AfterBuzz show of your own, be sure to buzz us at info@afterbuzztv.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
We'll buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
No, sorry.